I like to take walks in the morning around my neighborhood, and not every morning, but some mornings I like to go to the community garden, which is near our home. My daughter's always called it the vegetable garden.
You might hear a lot of traffic noise in the background, and that's because this garden is very near the freeway. And it's using the arable space near the freeway where there could be no houses, but where people can enjoy the land for their gardens. This garden here looks like it could be a very industrious gardener. There's lots of garden implements, so lots of great intentions. Looks like there's some rosemary here and some lantana. This garden has squash and corn. Lots of squash and lots of corn you can see in the back. In the foreground, there's morning glories. You can't see them too well right now, but there's a couple little morning glories that are ready to bloom. It's a little gloomy today, so maybe they're not ready yet. But morning glories can also be invasive. You have to be careful about them. They'll climb anywhere. But there's so much squash in this garden that I would bet that if I come back in 2 weeks, they're going to be begging me to take some squash away. Because that's what happens with squash. You always have too much. I hope this isn't too hard to see. This garden here that has the beautiful dahlia, the purple dahlia up front, has tomatoes that are actually over 6 feet tall. There's going to be so many tomatoes in there that she's going to be canning until September. This looks like a little shade garden where you might come to relax among the greens. In fact, just yesterday morning, I saw 2 gentlemen in here just chatting, just enjoying the garden. Here's a garden. This is a double garden, but the centerpiece is this enormous ribboned cactus. These very long, trailing ribbons that are bending into themselves, but very prickly on the perimeters. It looks like it's been there a very long time. This is one of my favorite gardens. It's an iris garden, but the irises have bloomed out, and still it's quite lovely because of the poppies and the bachelor buttons. The combination of those 2 colors, delightful. When I first saw this beautiful sunflower, I actually thought it wasn't real. The symmetry and the color, so glorious. Such a lovely sunshiny thing on this gloomy day. Here's a garden where you might come and have tea. It's quite beautiful on the outside with all of these lovely roses. But on the inside, it's really just flowers. Just beautiful flowers in pots and in boxes. A special place to relax. Here's a very particular gardener. He has barrels, cloth barrels, full of tomatoes and limes. So that'll be a fun harvest. And I actually see some squash down there too. Here's a gardener who's really prepared. He has trees in pots, decorations ready to go, lots of potting soil. He has beds filled with tomatoes, butterfly bush for the pollinators. That's what gardeners do. They plan for the future.